When I helped open a primary mental health treatment program after spending years leading substance use and eating disorder programs, I thought many of the same programming principles would carry over. Some absolutely did, but one lesson became clear almost immediately. You can't simply take a successful substance use program, change the license, and expect to meet the needs of a primary mental health population. That experience completely changed the way I think about programming, and today I want to share why. By the end of this video, you'll understand one of the biggest differences between designing programming for primary substance use treatment and primary mental health treatment, and why the difference matters for client engagement, clinical care, and treatment outcomes. I'm Mariana Stark, founder of Inward Bloom Wellness. Before founding Inward Bloom, I spent years leading behavioral health programs. I helped open Cedar Creek, the first primary residential treatment facility in the area. That experience taught me one of the most valuable lessons of my career. When we opened Cedar Creek, everyone involved wanted to provide exceptional care. We had experienced clinicians, strong leadership, solid programming, schedules that had worked well in other treatment settings. It seemed reasonable to think that much of that would transfer into primary mental health program, but it didn't take long before I realized something was fundamentally different. I remember standing in front of a process group one afternoon. One client was actively responding to voices that no one else in the room could hear. Another client was so severely depressed, they had barely spoken a word all morning. They weren't resistant. They just didn't have the energy to participate. And across the room, another client was experiencing mania. Their thoughts were racing, they were speaking so quickly, and were jumping from one idea to another before anyone could respond. And another client was highly anxious, constantly scanning the room, struggling to feel safe enough to engage. And I remember thinking, how do I facilitate one therapeutic conversation that genuinely meets the needs of all these people where they are? That question completely changed how I thought about treatment programming, because the challenge wasn't writing a better curriculum. The challenge was understanding the people sitting in front of me. Discovery number one: different populations require different approaches. One of the biggest misconceptions I see is assuming that a successful programming automatically transfers from one population to another. In substance use treatment, many groups include clients who, although each has a unique story, may be relatively at a similar stage of cognitive functioning after detox and stabilization. Primary mental health programs can present a different kind of complexity. Clients may be experiencing severe depression, psychosis, bipolar disorder, trauma-related symptoms, significant anxiety, personality disorders, or other psychiatric conditions, all within the same group. The diagnoses aren't the point. The point is that every client arrives with different needs, different abilities to participate, and different barriers to engagement. That changes how we facilitate. It changes pacing, it changes structure, it changes programming. Discovery number two: groups aren't just about content. That experience taught me something I'll never forget. Groups aren't just about content. They're about capacity, they're about regulation, they're about attention, they're about psychological safety, they're about understanding what each person is capable of engaging with in that room, in that moment. Sometimes the most important clinical decision isn't what are we teaching today, it's how can I help this group engage with what we are teaching today. Those are two very different questions, and they lead to very different programming decisions. Discovery number three: flexibility is a clinical skill. The best facilitators I've ever worked with weren't simply great at following curriculum. They were great at reading the room. They knew when to slow down, when to redirect, when to simplify, when to pause, when to help clients regulate before asking them to process. That's not abandoning the treatment program. That's not abandoning the treatment plan. That's good clinical judgments, because clients rarely engage exactly the same way we have planned. Discovery number four: great programs are built around people. One of the biggest mistakes organizations make is assuming they need one schedule that works for everyone. The best programs I've seen don't start with the schedule. They start with the population. They ask, who are we serving? What barriers to engagement are they experiencing? How do we create multiple pathways into the therapeutic work? When programming is intentionally designed around the people sitting in the room, rather than assuming everyone learns the same way, engagement changes. And when engagement changes, participation improves, retention improves, treatment outcomes improve. So in conclusion, one of the greatest lessons of my career has been realizing that effective treatment programming isn't about finding one model that works for everyone. It's about understanding the people sitting in front of you. Whether you're serving primary mental health, substance use, or individuals with co-occurring disorders, thoughtful program design matters, not because one population is more important than the other, but because every population deserves programming that's intentionally designed around its clinical needs. When programming matches the people you're serving, clients are more likely to engage. And when clients engage, meaningful therapeutic work becomes possible. If you're a facility owner, executive director, clinical director, or program leader looking to improve engagement, retention, or overall client experience, I'd be happy to share some of the strategies we've seen work across mental health, substance use, and eating disorder treatment programs. You can schedule a free consultation using the Zoom link in the description below. I appreciate you being here and look forward to connecting with you.